Today, I'm excited to show you a very simple keto vegan meal that has 2 ingredients. It's easy to make. You can make it in 5 minutes, and you can actually grow it right in your garden. This is my stir-fried rosemary zucchini, and all you need is some zucchini. You can also use summer squash, yellow zucchini, whatever you find that you like. We're gonna use some avocado oil, and we're gonna season it with some sprinkles of rosemary that came from the garden. Let's get started. I'm Owen. Welcome back to the channel where we help cancer patients beat back their diagnosis with metabolic therapies. That's food, fasting, and living an anti-cancer lifestyle. In this series, we're showing you how to make quick and simple plant-based ketogenic meals. And we're gonna get started with chopping the zucchini. Now, this particular zucchini came from my neighbor's garden, and he knows that I'm a plant-based eater, and he's like, you gotta eat some of this zucchini for me. So I said, okay, and this is the second one he's given to me. But I want you to cut like a little bit thicker wheels here. Okay, take a look at how that is. And that might be a little thick, but it'll all cook just the same. And with a zucchini of this size, I want it to fit in this pan here. I want you to cut as much as you're going to eat. Okay, this might keep well for like, you have it for dinner and then you have more for lunch the next day. But you don't want to keep this in your fridge, too long. So I eat a lot of this. So I'm gonna, it looks big and thick, but this is all of this is water. So when you start to fry it up, these are going to shrink down a lot. And this can be covered. It can get put back into the fridge and you can get more life out of your zucchini. So I really try to focus on my pan size, right? Whatever my pan size is, I want to fill that with enough food. And then the intention is to eat all that food that night, that meal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these zucchini wheels and I'm just going to cut them in quarters. Okay. And I'm going to put them directly into my pan here. And I like to get them all kind of face down in the pan there. So I'm just being a little careful with these squares. Now, the reason that a plant-based diet is effective for cancer patients is because plants have phytonutrients and deep nutrition that is great for detoxing. Number 2 is that whole foods are grown in the ground. They're made of what we're made of. And foods that are boxed in a factory have preservatives and other chemicals in them that can contribute to cancer. Now, there's a whole lot of other scientific reasons for the plant-based diet, but I'll tell you what, you're gonna feel great eating meals like this. I only eat animal protein on the weekends, and I enjoy it. I enjoy eating a clean piece of fish or a clean piece of steak, but I don't miss meat during the week because I eat so well and I eat till I'm full. Now, a big part of eating till you're full is the avocado oil. Avocado oil is a healthy fat. It's filled with fat, which will fuel your ketosis, right? You want to stay in a therapeutic level of ketosis. This will fill you up. It's calorie dense, it's clean, and you can heat it up, okay? Because what's going to happen is we're going to kind of drizzle this, and I'm liberal with the avocado oil. Now, we're not using olive oil. And the reason for that is when you heat olive oil up, it can become unstable. And unstable oils in your gut can cause gut issues, health issues. There's so much data on this. I want you to be really careful that if you're gonna put oil on the stove, it should be avocado oil. Now that I've kind of like covered the avocado oil, what I wanna do is just mix it around and get them all kind of covered here. So let's just do that. And I want you to put on a light barrier of seasoning. Okay, I'm gonna use garlic salt for this particular recipe, but you can have fun with this, okay? So I like to use Redmond's garlic salt. Redmond's, props, thank you so much for giving us a whole bunch of this salt. We have piled through it. Redmond's is a very healthy type of salt. And if you can buy it on the internet, we'll put a link to it in the description box. And by the way, all of these recipes, plus how I've beat cancer, how my wife has beat her gut issues and her health issues. All of that we cover on our blog at Beat Cancer With Me, so you can check that out. All right, so now what we've got is a nice little plate here, and we're gonna add the rosemary to this before we put it on the stove. So let's go to the garden where I grow whatever will grow. I gotta tell you, I was so worried about the soil and the composition that I was like worried about where to plant stuff. My daughter throws some cucumber seeds in the ground and we have these massive cucumbers. In fact, let me show you Look at this one right here. Look at that cucumber. Do you see that? These seeds cost me $2.99. We've had more cucumbers than we can eat. But what I'm showing you here is my rosemary plant, okay? And this is so just fragrant and wonderful. All I'm gonna do is just take one little leaf off of here. And if I knew that I was gonna shoot videos today, I didn't know I was gonna shoot videos today. If I had known that, I would have dried this out for a day. But, fresh, fragrant rosemary is what makes this dish more than just your average fried zucchini plate, okay? So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of like peeling off, just kind of taking a little, I'm getting the individual kind of rosemaries off, and I'm telling you, when it dries, it just cooks so much better. I feel like when it dries, you can really eat it, and it won't disrupt the meal. Like with this one, you might pull a little rosemary out, kind of like pulling out a leaf from a stew or something like that. But once you get it to where it's seasoned to your liking, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this on the stove. We're gonna put it over like medium-high heat to get the boil going. And then we're just gonna kind of like watch it, for a little bit. When the zucchini gets really short, when it's shrunk up a lot and it's squishy and it smells really good, maybe browns on the outside, that's when we're gonna eat it. Now this may take 5 or 7 minutes to get to your liking, so turn on some music and just enjoy this process. Smell the food while you're cooking it.
Is that the rosemary dish?
Yeah. That big zucchini. See, what else would I want to maybe put in here that would go with? Okay, let's do a black pepper. Boom. So that'll be really nice here. Maybe just a little bit more of that and a little bit more of this. Now, careful not to over season it. You really want the rosemary to stand out. But what you could do is you could add some red cabbage in here. You could add some mushrooms in here just to give it some color, some chomp, because the zucchini is going to sort of come out a little squishy, and it's very delicious. But now it looks like a more sophisticated plate, and you're getting the nutrients inside of the red cabbage. Now, you may have some rosemary left over. So what I like to do is to put it into a mason jar, put it either in the refrigerator or just off to the side and let it dry out so that it's ready to use for a future meal. So I'm gonna pull that off and look at how that has just browned. Look at how it's even a little bit darker than, but we're filming a video, be gracious to us. So I'm gonna turn the heat off. This just looks delightful and ready to eat. And notice all the extra oil, like that's okay, like I wanna make sure that my veggies get a good amount of oil, so I'm getting a lot of fat in my diet. So now it's the taste test, and I bet you've never seen a cooking show that used plastic forks and paper plates. We spare no expense, folks. Oh, hot, but very, very fragrant, very flavorful. I can taste the garlic salt that I put on it, and I can I breathe in the rosemary as it's just coming closer to me. I like the crunch of the red cabbage. I'll tell you what, I would probably on any given day add Bella mushrooms to this and just cut them in half and put them in there, and just these big chunky mushrooms with rosemary on them. That really makes this a big hearty meal. Eat a plate of this, there's nothing bad in it for you. There's nothing bad that can happen to you from eating this meal. Versus fast food, versus boxed food, versus canned foods. All of them have chemicals, toxins, poisons, and not only that, they lack nutrients. Beyond just like not being from the earth, they actually they have no value to them in terms of nutrition. And I'm telling you, a big plate of this with some mushrooms, even some steak seasoning and some A1 sauce, maybe, got to be careful on the carbs on that one, but we're gonna make a big hearty meal. And I say that because I know there's a lot of guys out there or with cancer, and you don't want to give up meat. A lot of wives I see in the treatment center that I go, like the wives are trying to get their husbands like, no, I'm not eating meat, I was born in America, you know? And it's like, man, like I want you to see your grandkids live though. I want you to see like your children like mature, you know? Like it's worth giving up meat to get your life back and a more healthy, vibrant life than you remember. So we've got more recipes on the channel. Our whole thing is making them easy, right? So that you can quickly grab something out of the fridge, turn it into a keto vegan meal. But we also share stories of how my wife overcame the grief and despair of being told your husband's gonna die, of my story of like what it was like to be told like, hey, there's no chance, you know, and the diet is nonsense, you know, all these different things the doctors told us. Anyway, all that stuff's on the channel. I hope you check it out. Follow us on Instagram. I'm Owen Video. See you there.